Hello, my name is Jasmine Griffin, a second year graduate student at the Southern University A&M College. For this journal, we're going to be buying a Whopper burger and we're going to have to put it in a blender and drink it, taste it to get our own review on the dislikes, the likes, the texture of it. Basically, putting our own self in a perception of someone that has to eat pureed food. And in our major, we will be doing swallowing evaluations to determine if someone should be solid food, thickened liquids, and what type of texture of food that they can have that will cause them not to aspirate when eating or drinking stuff, thickened liquids. And they do have where they can have chopped food. So just basically putting ourselves into their shoes to knowing how it feels to have to eat your food puree, and if it changes like the way it tastes because of the texture. So I got my Whopper, I got my magic blender, and my cup to put it in. I'm gonna have to kind of cut mine, being that my blender is kind of small. Okay, now I think that it is all chopped up. So it's really not bad at all. It still tastes the same, and I can say, like, since I had to blend it up, like the smell of the food is stronger. It tastes exactly like the burger if I was eating it solid. I think it's just like a sight thing, and like somebody like me, where I really have a bad thing with textures of food, that you're used to eating solid food and you having to eat food like blended like this, it kind of like makes it like not really a comfortable situation for you. It's really adjustment. Like if I had to eat this on a daily basis and this how I had to eat my food, I could see why in the beginning they refuse to eat, or they don't really like different foods that's blended up like this, because the smell of it was making me hesitant of drinking it because it was so strong, and then it just the appearance of it. But other than that, it's not bad at all. It still tastes exactly the same, but like I said, this is just something you have to get used to when you have been accustomed to having solid food. I work at a nursing home, and there are a lot of residents over there that have to eat puree food, and they on like a thick and liquid diet like that. When it's time to feed them, I try to like make their food appeasable by trying to put like seasoning in it, or trying to like make the appearance of it look better than, because sometimes it just be too droopy or it's too thick. And I try to put like some salt and pepper on it for them, make sure that it's at a reasonable temperature, it's not just cold, to try to make the experience of eating better than it already is, because they already lost the joy of them really like enjoying their food like a normal person. But that was about it on it. I was hesitant on it, like I said, because of the look of it and just the thought of a burger being in the liquid form, but it definitely tasted the same. So I want to also bring light into, as an SLP, what should the recommendations be for them when helping someone that has had a swallowing evaluation done, and it is been determined that they would have to have thick and liquid diet, or their food have to be liquid form. So of course it's already probably discouraging and very serious thing for a person to cough, aspirate, or choke when eating, which could lead to them being dehydrated, stressed, losing weight. Their health will decline because our bodies are trained for us to eat 3 times a day, drink water throughout the day. So you lose the nutrients that your body needs, which requires you to get evaluation by a speech therapist. And if the speech language pathologist determines that you do need to alter your diet, the way your food is processed, there is measures that they use for you to make sure that you are accommodated with your new diet. So something they would do would probably be like effort swallow. You could do it would increase the posture of your tongue for you to move food, and it would clear the bolus, and you will be instructed to swallow and push hard with the tongue against the hard palate, which is on top. And another thing they could do is the supraglottic swallow. Is designed to close the vocal fold by voluntarily holding one hand on one breath before doing swallow in order to protect the airway from like food going down, which will cause you to aspirate and choke. The patient is instructed to hold his or her breath and before swallow to close the vocal folds, because when you close the vocal folds, it stops food from falling down, which causes like what you say, oh, my food went down the wrong pipe, that's why I choked. The swallow is formed immediately by a volitional cough. And another one they would do is supraglottic swallow, designed for voluntary move to the adenoids, anteriorly closing the entrance of the laryngeal vestibule below and during swallowing. And something that they can do for you to adjust to, your new eating strategies to prevent you from aspirating is pacing and feeding strategies. So a speech language pathologist will recommend modifying the bolus size, bigger/smaller bolus, particularly for patients with greater volume to adequately stimulate a swallow response. And specifically if a person is like impulsive or decreased initiation, which 2 types of cognitive deficit, it may affect a patient's doing meals. So they may also work on you with posture techniques. You sitting up tight, chin down posture. The chin is tucked down towards the neck during swallowing, which may bring the tongue base closer into the posterior pharyngeal wall and narrow the opening to the airway, widen the vacuolar space. You would do a head rotation, turn to the side, and the head is turned to the other side, the left or the right side, typically towards the damage or the weak side that the person has. Although the opposite side may be attempted, is limited success when you're doing it like on your first side. So another one that they do is like a head tilt. You tilt your head up, and the head tilt towards is the stronger side to keep the food chewing on the surface. And that's about it. So that's some techniques that they'll use to try to like transition you into you eating thickened liquids, or you eating your food like puree, and making sure that you don't aspirate. And some things that you may do, like if you have trouble with your vocal folds closing, and basically just keep the person safe when eating and making sure that they're properly able to eat so they can get the nutrients that they need to survive, because that's what matters the most. Thank you.